Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be playing a highly anticipated Nightshade, currently on Kickstarter. Now, to start off with this game, there is a content warning. So, this game is 18 plus and strictly for adult viewing only. Contains themes and depictions of violence, murder, blood, drug use, toxic and abusive relationships, and explicit sexual content. So there will be a toggle to turn off your sex scenes, so you can play it as safe for work or not safe for work, which I think is cool. A little bit about the game. Nightshade is a visual novel about overcoming toxicity within interpersonal relationships as well as within oneself. This character-driven plot explores the complexities of love and loss in the form of romantic thriller through the eyes of our main character, Sasha, while he navigates life's darker elements and tries not to get caught in the crossfire of two ruthless crime syndicates. The estimated game release, once they have been funded, is late 2021, which is a pretty quick turnaround time, really. So, let's get started.
So, why would a person take someone's life?
Who knows? Maybe people make a living off that sort of thing. Why? What's eating you?
Nothing really. Just a passing thought. Speaking of, I'm hungry. Let's go get something.
Maybe later tonight. I've got somewhere I've got to be.
Oh, that is cool. Anime when? I just noticed the
Got somewhere I've got to be.
one of the images on the pinboard was that sad looking cat. I need to go back and look at what's on that. Beep. High above the restless heartbeat of the city, a cloaked stranger crouched near the edge of a towering skyscraper. Strands of bright pink hair almost grazed the dark skyline above and were jolted as a gust of wind blew through them. Whoopsie. His still gaze steadied under the flow of traffic and the bustling commotion below. It was as if he were waiting, watching, searching for something or someone. Something down there suddenly caught his eye. The masked stranger reached into his back pocket and pulled out a phone. He glanced at the bright screen, assessing the information that came through. Target located. Wordlessly, the man slid the phone back into his pocket. Without hesitation, he quickly turned and disappeared down the fire escape, quiet and precise. The sound of labored breathing echoed through the alleyway as a frightened man staggered to his feet near a dumpster. Shadows were cast along brick walls adorned in ripped posters and haphazard graffiti. One shadow stalked the other from the cover of darkness, quietly approaching. Paranoia was beginning to set in like the slow push of a syringe. What was that? The man gripped his chest in fear. His voice cracked with the pressure of panic. Beads of sweat trickled down his furrowed brow. His wide-eyed gaze glanced around his surroundings frantically. He was being hunted. No, wait.
What? No!
Wow, wow. Across the city. The light from the fluorescence overhead gave off a gentle buzzing noise. Filling the silence between the cashier and the young man at the counter who was, obnoxiously, taking a very long time to order his food. Something about the way the lazily swept floor and water-stained ceiling tiles were left carefully unattended to suggested that this place was the place for peak junk food. It was, without fail, Sasha's favourite burger joint in the entire city. If this was how he died, greasy burger in hand, then he was happy to go. The cashier cleared her throat impatiently. Finally, after what seemed like forever, Sasha tapped his fingers on the countertop and began his order. I'll have imposter burger, big old beef, onion death. I do not like onions. I wonder what each of these burgers actually is. Imposter burger. That sounds interesting. I'll have the imposter burger. No lettuce. Okay, that will be $4.60 monies.
Okay.
Yeah, here you go. See you later. Sasha handed over the money and pocketed the change that came after. Later, Sasha. The cashier set his to-go bag on the countertop and gave him a quick finger-gun goodbye. He swiped the goods and headed out of the hole in the wall, impatiently digging into the paper bag to retrieve and unwrap his burger. Without a second to lose, Sasha shoved the burger into his mouth, chewing delightfully. Nice! Oh man, this is the best. Night had settled over the city and painted the buildings in purple and blue hues. A string of streetlights had led a path down the empty side street, guiding pedestrians home from their busy day. Sasha, with his burger in hand, passed a collection of vending machines near an alley intersection. His free hand dug into his pocket and pulled out whatever he could find. He didn't have enough change for a cola, and mint was not very good currency. Man. With a defeated sigh, Sasha continued on. It wasn't often that Sasha walked this way when heading home. The familiarity of the rundown infrastructure and the architectural melting pot that was the city, however, was always a welcoming sight. Sasha glanced over at a small playground near the side street he continued down. Noticing the way the greenery had started to overcome certain structures and how very neglected it all seemed, he grinned. He's so cute. Look at his little smile. Wow, I hadn't walked this way in shit! No! Because it's Unity, there's no rollback. But we can look at the history. Nostalgia nudged at him as he drew closer to the playground, taking in the familiar sight curiously. Wait, that wasn't even what I wanted to read. It was this one. Wow, I hadn't walked this way in forever. I used to come here all the time. Nostalgia nudged at him as he drew closer to the playground, taking in the familiar sights curiously. There we go. I played at this park every day after school. Not that there's really much to play with. The playground looks exactly the same as it always has. Just a big empty dirt lot. Well, other swings, and one busted slide. And the monkey bars I fell off once. Sasha walked over to the empty swings and slowly sat down, unwrapping the rest of his burger for easier access. He took another bite and looked around at the desolate playscape. His other hand grabbed onto the rusted chain that held him up while he swung back and forth a bit. Honestly though, this park kinda sucks. I'm surprised this place wasn't bulldozed for apartments or something. Kids didn't really play here back then, and they still don't. I mean, look at this place. He laughed to himself gently. Taking another bite of the burger, he was far too hungry to wait until he got all the way home to finish eating. Pretty much just a place for teens to smoke and skip class. I mean, even I did it. Back then, there weren't a lot of kids to hang out with, really. I guess Mishka was there after a while, but he doesn't count. Baby boy. Oh, he's a little band-aid. But it's whatever. It beat sitting in an empty apartment every night. Sasha dug the tip of his heel into the mulch beneath him, lost in thought, momentarily forgetting the world around him while memories played out in his mind. Usually, I stayed out pretty late. But when the sun disappeared behind the... something. Is that... those letters look very Russian. I will have to Google how to pronounce that later. Near the school, I'd head home. I don't even know where to start. Oh my gosh, what is that? Someone help, please. What is it? Walking home alone was fine, since we didn't live very far. Plus, there was this little corner store right by our apartment that I always stopped in. That place was loaded. Like, I could grab dinner for me and Mum when she worked late. I'd also pick her up some apple pierogies she loved so much. I swear sugar runs through her veins. Probably where I got it. She still can't get mad at me if I give her one of those. The fondness he felt made him grin at his feet. Man, time really flies. Oh. Spooked. Huh? Sasha, startled by the sound of his phone buzzing away in his pocket, reached into his jacket and pulled out the device. Ooh, it gets click. Click, click, click. Hey man, Alexa gave me this number and said if I wanted anything to meet up with you. Is that good? My place or yours, LOL.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck. Who is this? I already meet up in public. When do you want it? Don't message me this late. I'm off the clock. Okay, what does he do? It's a bit shady. Who is it, though? Who is it? Taryn. Well, that explains a lot. How's tomorrow night at Jukebox? Top 40 night. Lol. Okay, meet me at the bar at 10. I love his little spooked little... He's really cute. He shoved his phone back in his pocket, a feeling of irritation pushing his brow into a furrow. Just give my number to anyone, that's fine, totally not creepy at all. The earlier feeling of fondness had melted into agitation. Sasha crumpled the burger wrapper into a small ball and tossed it into the recycle can as he stood from the swing. Getting really late now. I probably should get going. He glanced over his shoulder at the empty street behind him, a small chill prickling at the back of his neck. Yeah, it was time to go. Streetlights began to spread out the further he walked, becoming less and less frequent along the way. The darker the paths became, the more Sasha found himself glancing over his shoulder, his hands shoved into his pockets. His pace quickened, not even bothering to stop when he passed the corner store despite the aroma of apple perushkis. Neon signs flickered irregularly in the windows of establishments that were closed for the evening. The occasional Samaritan became few and far between. Sasha looked up and noticed he was approaching his apartment building, a newfound urgency ballooning in his chest. Keys. Where are his keys? Flies beat against the corridor light bulb behind him. Sasha stood in front of his apartment door. His hands fumbled for the keys he knew had to be on him somewhere. He sighed with relief when he felt them and quickly moved to shove the small keys into the deadbolt. There was no unlocking sound. Sasha's heart fell into his stomach. Did I leave this unlocked? Could have sworn I locked it. His heart raced in his chest. As quiet and carefully as he could, Sasha placed his hand on the middle of the door and pushed. It opened a crack and gradually created a space big enough for him to slide through. His eyes were wide in the darkness of the small studio apartment, trying to adjust as best they could. He reached over and quietly set the keys onto the TV stand next to him. Something had fallen over. It sounded like it came from nearby. He turned his head in the direction of the noise, now noticing the light that illuminated from the small bathroom tucked away in his closet. Dum dum. A spike of panic sent a burning, rigid sensation through his arms and gripped at his gripped at his chest tightly. Weapon. He needed a weapon. As quietly as he could, Sasha reached into a drawer near the TV stand, his fingers tightly gripping the knife he pulled out. It was almost impossible to calm the heartbeat he could practically feel in his throat. He stood a few steps forward, holding the knife close. He was closing in on the bathroom door, heart pounding. Every hair on the back of his neck stood on end. His knuckles almost white with how tightly he held his weapon. The other hand lifted and pressed against the middle of the bathroom door. He tried to still his breathing with one slow, shaky exhale. Suddenly, he shoved the door to the bathroom door with all his might, and with his other hand, lunged forward.
Did you really think you'd win in a knife fight against me? Sasha.
What? Oh my god. Okay. So that was Nightshade. Did we just die? Is that what happened? Oh my god, no. How dare you leave me on a cliffhanger? So, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're enjoying the game. And I hope you go and support the Kickstarter. There's a lot of really cool stuff on it. From games, art books, OSTs. There's a lot of little merch items. I noticed the other day that it hasn't even been out that long, I don't think. I noticed a while ago that the all the backer characters are sold out, which is cool. I can't wait to see what people come up with that. But help them get funded, because I need to know what just happened, because that is just mean. What happened? Oh, okay. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.